It does not matter if you are undocumented or a citizen. All it takes is being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
America, Arizona Democrats are having a complete meltdown because federal agents arrested people using fake IDs, stolen social security numbers to work at Zips Sports Grill.
Over 35 people ICE says were here illegally arrested. A statement from ICE says the focus of the investigation includes unlawful employment of illegal immigrants, identity theft, and document fraud.
Wrong place, wrong time? No, try wrong country, wrong documents, wrong identity. But according to Arizona Democrats, ICE is the problem.
2 men are accused of assaulting police and impeding federal law enforcement, and they have been arrested.
Now they're facing felony charges, and Democrats are calling this an authoritarian takeover. What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me show you exactly how Arizona Democrats defend criminals while attacking agents who are enforcing the law. Let me give you a quick recap for anybody who missed the story that we posted last week. On Monday, Homeland Security Investigations, that's HSI, the investigative arm of ICE, executed search warrants at 15 Zips Sports Grill locations across the Phoenix Valley. This wasn't random sweeps. This was a year-long criminal investigation that started in February 2025 after HSI received a tip that Zips locations were employing undocumented workers and that management knew fake documents were being used.
According to court documents, over 70 undocumented immigrants were employed at the restaurants using fake documents.
Over 70 undocumented immigrants were working at Zips using fake IDs and social security numbers. And here's the kicker. Court documents show the kitchen manager for all Zips locations admitted on the record every manager knows that many of the IDs that are used are fake, and almost every cook in the restaurant is under a false identity. This, my friends, is not an honest mistake. Management knew, and they looked the other way, and they kept hiring people using stolen identities.
They claim some Zips employees were in the country illegally, using fake names and social security numbers on I-9 forms and checking the box claiming U.S. citizenship.
They were filling out I-9 forms, that's the federal employment verification form, using fake names, fake social security numbers, and checking the box claiming U.S. citizenship. That's not just immigration violation. That is identity theft, my friends, and document fraud. Those are federal crimes. Now, let me show you just how organized this fraud operation really was, because this wasn't individuals making mistakes. This was a coordinated scheme.
During the searches, investigators say multiple employees admitted to using false documents and names to get hired. Some saying they used paperwork a friend had used at Zips before.
They were literally passing around fake IDs like Netflix passwords. One person would use a fake identity to work at Zips, then pass that same identity to someone else when they left.
Arizona Department of Economic Security records also show one man worked for 17 different employers in a single year.
That is not possible unless you're using multiple identities or somebody else is using your identity while you're working somewhere else. This is systematic identity theft. Real Americans having their social security numbers stolen, used by people who shouldn't be in the country in the first place. And when federal agents arrest the criminals doing this, Democrats call it an assault on dignity.
I've seen cases where it was very minor, where there was someone bought a fictitious ID and used that to work and used that to pay taxes, and I've seen some egregious examples where someone maybe stole an ID from someone else and used that and claimed unemployment benefits.
This is not just about working. These stolen identities are being used to claim unemployment benefits, file fraudulent tax returns, and access government services. Real Americans are getting their identities destroyed while Democrats defend criminals doing it. Now let's talk about how Arizona Democrats responded to federal agents arresting people committing identity theft and document fraud. Spoiler alert, they defended the criminals.
Direct assault on the dignity of immigrant workers, and a chilling reminder of how law enforcement actions can tear right through the fabric of our community.
Direct assault on the dignity of immigrant workers. That is how an immigration attorney described arresting people using stolen identities, not immigrant workers, criminals committing federal crimes.
This is despicable as the daughter of immigrants who fled an authoritarian regime to come to this country for a better life and opportunity to see the ongoing authoritarian takeover of the United States of America.
And then there's Democrat Congresswoman Yasmin Ansara calling this an authoritarian takeover of the United States of America. Her parents fled, she said, so she knew exactly what authoritarian looks like. And it's not the federal agents arresting people committing identity theft.
All the U.S. Attorney's Office will tell us is that this was not an ICE sweep or raid, but instead related to a long-term criminal investigation involving felony violations.
HSI, Homeland Security Investigation, led this operation. Like I mentioned earlier, they're the investigated arm that handles transnational crime, human trafficking, document fraud, and identity theft. This is what they do, and they did it by the books with federal search warrants approved by a judge. But obviously, Democrats don't care about the facts. They never do. They care about their specific narrative, and their narrative is ICE bad, illegal immigrants good. Anyone who enforces immigration law is fascist.
About 100 people outside of the Zips near 75th Street and Camelback Road. They say the group tried to block a Homeland Security transport van from leaving the parking lot with employees detained inside.
About 100 protesters showed up and tried to block a Homeland Security transport van from leaving the parking lot with arrested employees inside. Not peaceful protesting, physically blocking federal agents from doing their job. Matthew Drake, 38 years old, from Goodyear, violently shoved a police officer and threw liquid at them. Police had to fire pepper balls to stop him, and now he's facing aggravated assault on a first responder and disorderly conduct charges.
Phoenix Waits is accused of trying to block a transport van. Police say he punched an officer in the face. He was tackled and handcuffed.
And 19-year-old Phoenix Waite tried to block the van and punched an officer in their face. Now he's facing the same charges, aggravated assault on a first responder. So let me get this straight. Federal agents arrest people committing identity theft and document fraud. Protesters show up to defend the criminals. Protesters assault police officers. And Democrats call this a chilling reminder of how law enforcement actions can tear through the fabric of our community. No, assaulting police officers while trying to help criminals escape federal custody is not defending your community. It's obstructing justice. And both of these guys are now facing felony charges because they thought that they were above the law. Now here's where this story connects to a much bigger pattern. Democrats aren't just defending these specific criminals. They're using this as an excuse to demand ICE to be pushed out of Arizona entirely.
And speakers at this rally today are calling on Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego and Governor Katie Hobbs to stand up to ICE and force the agency out of our state altogether.
Think about what they're actually demanding. They want Arizona to become a sanctuary state where federal immigration law cannot be enforced.
The governor responding on Twitter, writing that she is also in the dark about the full purpose and scope of the investigation at Zips. And she goes on to say that she's frustrated with the Trump administration's lack of adequate notification when conducting high-profile enforcement activities.
The governor is seemingly playing along. She's frustrated with the Trump administration's lack of adequate notification when conducting high-profile enforcement activities. Let me translate that for you. She wants advance notice before federal agents arrest criminals so she can warn them. That's what adequate notification means. She wants time to tip off these people being investigated. This is the same playbook that Democrats run in every sanctuary jurisdiction. Demand advance notice of enforcement operations, claim they're being kept in the dark, complain of lack of coordination, then use it as a justification to refuse cooperation with federal law enforcement.
This type of operation shouldn't be carried out with masked agents and pepper spray and mace.
And listen to this protester. This type of operation should be carried out with masked agents and pepper spray and mace. You know why agents wear masks? Because protesters were filming them and posting their faces online and targeting them and doxing them. You know why they use pepper spray? Because protesters are assaulting officers and trying to free criminals from custody. Now let's talk about Zip's management, because this is where the criminal conspiracy really comes together.
Diego Gonzalez Rosales, the kitchen manager for all Zip's locations, is charged with multiple counts, including a pattern and practice of knowingly employing unauthorized immigrants and knowingly making false attestations on a Form I-9.
That means he knew the documents were fake and he certified them anyways.
Gonzalez Rosales stating on the record, every manager knows many of the IDs that are used are fake, and almost every cook in the restaurant is under a false identity.
So this wasn't one rogue manager. This was a company-wide policy. Every manager knew. They all looked the other way. They kept hiring people using stolen identities because it was cheaper than hiring legal workers.
Zip's representative, who says with an ongoing investigation, they couldn't answer our questions. The company saying they are fully cooperating.
And now Zips is claiming they're in full cooperation with the investigation, but they won't answer questions about how their employees are doing. They won't explain how 70 plus people were working with fake documents without anybody noticing. They're just hoping it blows over. And here's what you need to understand. This isn't just about Zips. This is happening at a lot of different restaurants, a lot of construction sites, a lot of warehouses and farms across America. And Democrats are protecting this system.
If you're coming here to work, you're going to probably do what you can to put yourself in that situation. Going to find a way to do that, whether it's legal or illegal. And I'm not condoning doing it illegally, but I think...
Listen to this immigration attorney. If you're coming here to work, you're going to probably do what you can to put yourself in that situation. Basically saying identity theft is understandable because people want to work. No, absolutely not. Identity theft is a federal crime. Stealing somebody's social security number and using it to get a job is not quote unquote understandable. It is criminal. And the victims are real Americans whose identities are getting destroyed.
Because the current administration, the Trump administration, exactly, this is one of their biggest priority, which is legal immigration.
More of these operations are coming out because the Trump administration has made illegal immigration enforcement a top priority. Good. That's exactly what should happen here. For 4 years under the Joey Biden administration, businesses knew they were hiring illegal workers using fake documents with absolutely zero consequences. ICE was told to stand down. Sanctuary cities protected criminals, and the borders were wide open. Now there's a new sheriff in town, and businesses that knowingly hire people using stolen identities are about to learn that federal law still exists. So what happens to all these people now? The people arrested for immigration violations will likely be placed on deportation proceedings. If they use fake documents and committed identity theft, they'll face federal criminal charges before deportation.
The employees who were using this fictitious documentation will likely be criminally charged. And that person is here undocumented. It's very likely they'll end up in deportation proceedings where they can be removed from the country.
The kitchen manager, Diego Gonzalez Rosales, is facing multiple federal charges. If convicted, he's looking at years in federal prison for knowingly employing unauthorized immigrants and falsifying federal documents. Zip's management will likely face massive fines and potentially criminal charges if prosecutors can prove they had a pattern and practice of knowingly hiring illegal workers.
This is the only Zips location back open in the Valley, but the company spokesperson says by the end of the week, all the locations should be back up.
But here's my question. Who's going to work there? Because 70 plus of their employees just got arrested for using fake documents. Are they going to all of a sudden hire legal workers this time? Or are they going to keep running the same scam? America, Arizona Democrats just showed you exactly where their priorities are. Federal agents arrested people for identity theft and document fraud. Management admits every manager knew the IDs were fake. And Democrats call it an authoritarian takeover. They're demanding ICE be pushed out of Arizona entirely. They're defending criminals who stole American identities. They're attacking the agents who enforce federal law. And when protesters assault police officers trying to help criminals escape, Democrats call them heroes. This is the pattern in every sanctuary jurisdiction. protect criminals, attack law enforcement, and pretend enforcing the law is fascism. But the Trump administration isn't playing any games anymore. HSI is doing its job, federal law is being enforced, and businesses that knowingly hire illegal workers using stolen identities are learning that there are consequences. Arizona residents need to ask themselves one simple question. Do you want a state where federal law is enforced, or do you want a sanctuary state where criminals are protected and ICE is banned? Because Democrats have made their choice clear. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.